Lana. 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 Lana!
What? Danger zone.
Okay, so it has been well documented on this channel throughout the years that I am a child of 80s movies. I love 80s movies. You know, their high concept nature, their kind of balls to the wall, just total commitment to the gimmick, you know, the somewhat overblown nature of them. And, you know, I just love them. You know, 80s movies are what I was raised on, and they're one of the things that I truly, truly enjoy. But, you know, there are exceptions to every rule. It's not to say that everything that came out of the 80s or everything that is considered a classic of the 80s is, you know, one of my favorite things. And one of the major exceptions to this rule is the movie Top Gun. I have never been a fan of Top Gun. Just never in my life. I have just never, not even ironically, it's not even one of those movies that I can enjoy from a standpoint of it's so batshit insane that it's kind of fun in spite of itself. No, it's basically, you know, it's a testament to testosterone. It is overcompensation, the movie. It is a movie that is so desperate to prove that it is manly, that it is the most manly thing. It is going to shove the manliness in your face. And you're going to see that this is for manly men, what love men and do men things with men, you know. That it just becomes a sick parody of itself. Couple with that, my general distaste for Tom Cruise as both an actor and a person, and you just find that this is not the movie for me. So when I saw that they were doing another, 20 years later sequel, I was not hyped. I was not in the crowd going, yeah, Maverick's back. I went, oh, fuck, Maverick's back. It also doesn't help that Maverick kind of never really went away, since just about every character Tom Cruise has played since is basically Maverick. So it's not like Maverick ever really left us. But go and see it. I did as a respected, low-rated YouTube film critic. It is my duty to see such films and to impart to you, the low-rating viewing public, my thoughts on said films. And my thoughts on this film is, it didn't suck. I really wanted to come out here and tell you that this was the worst thing I had seen all year, that it was a piece of garbage, and it was, just completely without merit, totally irredeemable, and what a fucking stupid ego trip this was. And I can't completely do that. Don't get me wrong, this is a complete ego trip, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But I honestly can't come out here and tell you that I didn't actually enjoy this movie. Enjoyed it a lot more than I ever did the previous film. I actually think this is a good movie. This might actually find its way onto the wall. And I am as shocked as you are. But again, if there's one thing the years of reviewing movies has taught me, it's that you really have to sometimes give things a chance and give them the chance to surprise you, because you never really know. So it's not, but don't misunderstand me. This is not to say that this is a perfect movie, or that, it's not without its flaws that hurt it. Far from it. There are several things in this that just make you go, oh, God. But generally, pretty damn good film, all things considered, so let's talk about it. So what is the plot? Well, we are however many years later in real time. It's hard to say because the movie was supposed to come out in 2020, so 2 years later. And Pete Maverick Mitchell, I think that's his last name, as played by Tom Cruise, is still being an egotistical dickwad basically flaunting orders whenever it suits him. He's basically the James T. Kirk of the Navy. And he just can't seem to get kicked out, but he also can't seem to get promoted. He doesn't want to get promoted, basically, because that means he can't fly anymore. And he can't get kicked out because Val Kilmer's character, Iceman from the original, has gone up so high in rank. You know, he's this high-ranking admiral, and he keeps bailing Maverick out every time he gets in trouble. But after pulling the latest harebrained stunt in a career seemingly full of them, Maverick is recalled to Top Gun to take up the role of a flight instructor to prepare a group of hot shots, get it? For a incredibly difficult and dangerous mission that only the best of the best of the best of the best could achieve. So you get a new group of rowdy, egotistical fighter pilots, which includes Rooster, the son of Goose, whom has a grudge against Maverick for various petty reasons. So yeah. So there is your plot. Right away, I have to say, one of the things I did enjoy about this movie is that there was, in fact, a plot. Yeah, really, the original Top Gun has no plot. It literally is a dick measuring contest. The entire movie, that is what it is. They go to Top Gun, and all these guys strut around, measuring their cocks, going, mine's bigger. No, mine's got more girth. Well, you know, and that's the entire point of the movie. The battle scene only takes place at the end, and it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of incidental. It just kind of happens to have taken place, you know, conveniently when our characters needed a third act. But here there is actually a goal in mind. There is actually something they are training for. There's a timetable, there are stakes, there are choices, you know. So because they actually bothered to have a plot this time, the movie can actually be fairly engaging. In terms, it also allows for actual character development, which is something I think that they believed they were giving Tom Cruise's character in the first one, when in fact he's still the same egotistical dick that he was before. You know, it's kind of funny. Many critics have made points of, you know, you look at Steve Rogers in the Captain America movies, and especially the first one, and the point has been made that Steve Rogers does not have what we would consider a traditional story arc or character growth. He is the same person morally, emotionally, logically, that he was at the beginning of the film. He doesn't change. But the movie is really how all of the other characters change around him, how he affects the other people around him and makes them better. The same thing can be said of the Christopher Reeves Superman. That Superman doesn't really change, learn, or grow throughout the original Richard Donner film, but all of the other characters react to him. The good people are inspired to be better, and Lex Luthor is inspired to go bigger. But he himself does not change. Now that works well when you have a character who is actually a good person. Maverick is not a good person in the original. He's an asshole he is an 80s uber douche in every sense of the word. And he does not really change. They try to convince you that he's changing, but he's really not. In fact, it's everybody else around him who's calling him out on being an uber douche, coming to the end and going, Maverick, we're glad you are who you are. It's that old cop thing of, I don't like that guy. He's a loose cannon, and he's terrible, but I wish we had 500 more just like him. Turning into a review of the original Top Gun, sorry. So anyway, the point of the matter is that this time Maverick actually does have a character arc. He actually is attempting to learn, grow, put things behind him and pass the knowledge on that he has acquired throughout his perfect military career, except for just being a dick to admirals and never getting promoted. So he actually has a journey, and he's also faced with the, dealing with the feeling that he failed Rooster as a surrogate father. Not only because he got his dad killed, but also because he deliberately used his clout to try to keep Rooster out of the Air Corps of the Navy. Because he didn't want him to go the same way that his dad did. So you actually have a father-son dynamic, a fractured father-son relationship. So there's actually stuff for Tom Cruise to play. Now here's the thing, and Tom Cruise has never been my favorite actor. And again, as I also mentioned, it's because he basically just plays Maverick in every film he's in. But that being said, he can act when he wants to. Interview with a Vampire is his greatest movie by a million miles, because he's actually playing a different character, and he proved he can do it. So Tom Cruise can act when he chooses. And he actually does try to do some acting in this movie, and, there are some scenes in it. There's especially a great scene with him and Val Kilmer, Val Kilmer doing a little cameo in this, that is very, very good. And it also shows just how good of an actor Val Kilmer is, that he carries the scene without saying anything. It's kind of funny. So yeah, Tom Cruise actually, does do some good acting in this. Again, not that I'd say he deserves an Oscar, but he does a few things. I also gotta say that, again, going back to the fact that there is a story and there is a plot, there is an objective that needs to be achieved, it makes all the training exercises that they're doing all the more exciting. There's actual moments of tension in this where I actually felt like, oh crap, this shit is real. I also got to say, I don't know how they did all the flying stunts, how much of it might be CGI and how much they actually got legit pilots to do, but it's pretty seamless, and they do a pretty awesome job. Like the flying scenes in this are fast and intense and everything you want from, a Top Gun movie. But is this movie perfect? And the answer is absolutely not, because there are some glaring things in it that just make your head just go, oh God. Obviously, as I said, so yes, Tom Cruise's character does have a character arc, but he's still the same kind of uber 80s douchebag throughout a lot of it. Not a lot, actually. I'm oversimplifying. I guess it's just everything that has his... When he's interacting with the younger pilots, it's really good. When he is being a mentor and a teacher, it's a really good bit. But they still have to give him this thing where he just openly defies every admiral that comes across him. It's like he's Alan Alda on MASH, and these admirals were all the stuffy generals that rolled up going, I don't care about human life, I just want to win this crappy war, and I don't care what this liberal doctor says. And that's basically, they have two of them in here. Ed Harris has a cameo in this where it's basically all he does is come in and go, I don't like you, Maverick. I don't like that you're always flaunting authority, but we're still going to give you authority. And then they turn over to John Hamm, who then spends the entire rest of the movie doing the exact same thing, going, oh, I don't like you, Maverick. I don't like that you're here. I don't like the way you teach things. And he's the stuffy high school or college dean in every 80s college movie. I don't like Chug-a-Lug House. I sure got my comeuppance when he went against the rules and did things like. Did we really need that? Honestly, did we need all that false drama? Because they have an objective and a real goal that has to be achieved, That's the drama you need. And maybe Maverick questioning whether or not he's a good enough teacher. You don't need this tacked on fucking, don't like you, Maverick. Two characters, not even one, two of them. It's like, the fuck? It just comes off as very, very cliche. Speaking of cliche, all right, I got to get into this. I honestly feel, and I'm just going on what you see on TV and whatnot. I don't know the man personally, clearly. But if I had to venture a guess, I would say Maverick is the closest to the actual Tom Cruise of any Tom Cruise character. That's why it feels like he just keeps playing Maverick in all of his roles. And because of that, I feel like he might be very, very protective of Maverick and his own perceived image. It's a kind of a running joke in Hollywood that Tom Cruise has kind of a, I guess the only way to say it is a short man syndrome. This constant need to prove that he's the biggest, the baddest, the most macho. That's why in all these Mission Impossible movies, he's, I do my own stunts. And now we get to this film, which is all supposed to be about Maverick learning to step back and impart his knowledge to the next generation. But then, of course, at the very end, we have to put him in the forefront so he can be team leader on this exceptionally dangerous mission because he's just the best there is. And you're just like, okay, but that completely undermines any character growth he should have had, because it would have been okay if he'd been offered, but what he should have done is say, no, I'm going to step back, I'll call it from the ground, and let my students do it. And that's his character arc. That's how he lives on. But they don't do that. Maverick has to be the hero. Tom Cruise has to be the hero. And if that's not bad enough, okay, so they do that, and it's like, all right, it is his movie, you got to give him the big hero moment. Fine and dandy. The movie reaches its logical ending point. We reach a perfectly acceptable climax. Objective achieved. Evil's defeated. Democracy wins. America, fuck yeah. But then the movie has to keep going for another 30 minutes so that Tom Cruise can once again be an even bigger hero. Like it had to keep going. I'm not going to say that the added-on bit wasn't fun or exciting, because it got there. But it took a long time because it really did feel like this was a thing that was added on because we had to make sure the audience knew how awesome Tom Cruise is. It really felt very tacked on. And as such, I fell right out of the picture. And the movie had me. I groaned a bit at those things I mentioned before, but I was still pretty engaged. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, fuck, you're kidding, right? And, yeah, it got me back in eventually, but, like, when the film was almost done by that point, and it was just, you didn't need any of that. We already saw how great Tom Cruise is. We didn't need any more how great Tom Cruise is. So yeah, it was a much better movie, and Tom Cruise was much more humble, and I think a lot more giving as an actor than I've ever seen him. But you still had to get that last, self-wank off. You still had to, as the OSW review boys would say, you still had to hot dog and grandstand like your Hollywood Hogan at the end of WrestleMania 9 after screwing Brett, Or that's actually not even a good metaphor for that. It's actually more like anytime the Macho Man won anything, and there's Hogan going, oh, but I'm here too. I'm Hulk Hogan. And that's what Tom Cruise kind of does here at the end. Movie ends, but he still has to come out, oh, I'm Tom Cruise. I'm the greatest. I'm harping on. I apologize. That all being said, that all being true, I would be lying to you if I said I didn't have a fun time with this movie, that I didn't enjoy this movie, which I never thought I'd say I had fun or enjoyed a Top Gun movie. Never thought it in a million years. But there it is. Stranger things have happened. This has been a year of really weird shit. And this must top that list. So, final grade for Top Gun Maverick. You know, I'm pretty surprised at this. I'm going a solid B. Solid B picture. Fun, engaging, much, much better than the first one by a million fucking miles. Jesus. And there's one last thing I gotta say, and I don't even know if I should. I'm actually very scared about broaching this subject. One thing you can say about this movie, you can tell they were very nervous about having the label put on this film that the original one has gotten. Anybody who knows the original or knows kind of the discussion around it knows what I'm talking about. Like, they were very, very careful to try to ensure that no, Tom Cruise likes the women. Like, they were very, very obvious about that. That's just kind of a funny thing. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But yeah, I think if you liked the first one, you're definitely going to like this one. And even if you didn't like the first one, you can still enjoy this one. And if you've never seen the first one, you don't really need to. They tell you everything you need to know, and off you go to the races. So yeah. So I say school's out. You need to start the summer. You want your brain to shut off. You want to just go watch something fun and dumb. Here you go. Check out this one. All right. So there you have it. So the summer is upon us, and I am getting ready to embark on my usual summer travels. And what that means is that there might be a little bit of a hiatus for some drive home reviews, but when we come back, there's going to be a whole mess of them, including many that bring back the beloved co-host of Drive Home Reviews, my beloved girlfriend, Rebecca. So we are looking forward to checking out some movies and doing some reviews. Might even get some Alaska homies in on this. So we may be gone for a couple months, but we'll always come back. We'll always have more reviews. And so thank you for joining me. Have a great summer. And as always, drive safe. And I will see you at the movies.